Alright, hello everybody, welcome to episode number 10 of Rusty Collins' Recap Comic Book and Review. I got my stack of comic books here that I'm actually going to go through and explain to everybody. So, we're going to start tonight with 699 Captain America. This is done by Mark Waid, Chris Samneen are the storytellers. Matthew Wilson is the color artist. So this is following the Out of Time storyline where Captain America wakes up in the year 2025 in the far distant future, and the rich people run the world and the poor people are pretty standard post-apocalyptic kind of thing. And they don't really explain what happened, but the society fell apart. Cap does what Cap does. He motivates the people. They attack the stronghold. Hulk's there. He beats Hulk kind of easily. Gets into the stronghold, finds out that the Thing has just been walking in circles around, pushing you like a horse, pushing to keep this place operating, and that's their power source, which was kind of hokey. Gets the two of them working together, crushes and stops the bad guy. The bad guy is this really, I'm not sure, I don't know this character. Cap sure seemed to know who this character was, but I didn't recognize this guy. He's some egghead dude. Very peculiar telepath powers. Cap overpowers him mentally, basically. Beats his powers, throws a shield, knocks him out, beats the bad guy. Now he's going to unite a country. Because he's like, oh, I've been out of time, lost in time before, I'm just assuming I'm here forever. So now he's going to unite this broken country and rebuild everything. And that's what issue 700 is going to be. So, yeah, kind of... I was really enjoying Captain America when it started, and now it's awkward, and then it's going to be shifting creative teams, and I don't know. I'm enjoying it. It's wholesome, but it's not epic or amazing. It's just wholesome. Kind of weird. Alright, next in line we got X-Men Red number 2. This is done by Tom Taylor, Muhammad Assar, Ives Cornica. Oh man, I'm so sorry. So this comic is really cool. I've picked up the first few of all the X-Men titles because I'm a really big fan of the X-Men. X-Men Blue is kind of like your happy, campy teen book. X-Men Gold's kind of like just go punch the big bad guy. And X-Men Red is taking the political stance and the social commentary, because this is part of Jean's new image, or new dream for your new interpretation of Xavier's dream. That's what I'm trying to say. And we saw last issue that the UN representative was seemingly on TV killed by Jean, and it causes this backlash, and they go to Wakanda, and things get crazy, and this is where this comic really got me, is they start showing the news commentators, and they literally, there you go, took a page out of the Charlottesville incident that happened not long ago. So I thought that was right on point for that we're gonna say the things that, just because this is where the X-Men started. Xavier and Magneto are literally Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. That's literally who they are. Ask Stan Lee. So the story goes on. They find out that there's a mutant named Trinary. Yeah, I'm bad at pronunciations, as you've seen from my last names. And she's been held captive in Delhi, India. So they have to break into the they have to sneak in all espionage style to India to break her out of jail. In the process, they get caught, because of course that's how things go. Even though they've got this extremely stealthy team of X-23, Laura, Wolverine, Honey Badger, Jean, who can make people just not know they're there, and Nightcrawler. It's like the stealthiest team you could possibly imagine. They still get caught up in riots in the streets and get exposed. And the last panel is a giant sentinel getting called out of the ground to come ruin their day and eradicate the mutants. So, yeah, this comic's been great. I'm really enjoying it. This is definitely the best launch of an X-Men comic I've seen yet out of Marvel in a long time. So I've got high hopes for X-Men Red. I'm really hoping it doesn't disappoint in the long run, because so far it's been great. Alright, here we go with Star Wars number 44. This is done by Karen Gillan, Salvador LaRocha, and Guru Effects. Lots of talking in this issue, very little action. they're on the planet of Mehcad, which is the fish people, Admiral Akbar, their planet, on this nice little island, super cute, and they're meeting a high-level diplomat of the Trade Federation that is there. And him and Leia start talking, and moments into the discussion, an Imperial scouting troop comes by, and Han Solo's like, "Look, I know how to handle this. I've smuggled here before. I know what to do. You guys keep talking. Let me take care of this." Immediately, they blow up the transport that the rebels have, and Han still insists, like, even though they just blew up their right out of there, he swears it's okay, he can handle this, because it's Han Solo. Of course he can handle this, right? And he goes up to the stormtroopers, and it is literally like 20 of them smashed into this thing. And he's like, "Look, I know you guys are all troopers. Nobody here gets, you all get crappy pay, right? I got a credit chip here. How about we all just do a little bribey, and everything's good." The whole time, he's got his hand behind his back. And the lead stormtrooper's like, "There's no money on this card." And he throws a thermal detonator inside the spaceship and blows up most of them. They go running off into the forest. Admiral Akbar and this other Mon Calamari who's there are insisting, "Don't do anything to the forest. Don't do anything to the forest. Don't do anything to the forest." Of course, they all run into the forest. And they get to another transport that they have. They go to leave. They're riding away in this, like, futuristic space boat, basically. And as they do that, you realize why they shouldn't have been messing around with the island, because the island was actually a giant sea creature! And that little tiny dot on the back of him, right there, was that sand barge they were hanging out on, and it got pissed and stood up, and yeah. So that was kind of cool. I thought that was nifty little, alien biology that they threw in there. That wasn't actually an island, it was the back of a critter. And they get told no. They get told they cannot have the resources that they're asking for. What they asked for was to take the Mon Calamari trade fleet and to convert it into a secret war fleet, like put weapons on them and start doing all this stuff, so if they actually go to war with the Empire, they can just call them all out in an instant. And this guy's like, "I can't do that. I'm just a dude, basically, a rich dude. The king would have to say yes to that, and the king has been imprisoned by the Imperials. Can't help you. Sorry to dash your hopes. Go home." So Leia's going back to the rebellion, and Akbar asks her, he's like, "What are we going to do?" And she's like, let me think. Last pages of this comic, she hits up the Queen Trios from last arc, and is like, "Hey, can you do me a favor? I need to break somebody out of jail." And the Queen kind of like laughs at her and is like, "Isn't breaking people out of jail beneath you, princess?" And she's like, "Not if the person I'm breaking out's a king." So she's going to go break the king of the Mon Calamari people out of prison, and then in turn, I'm sure he's going to help her fight the Empire. So you're kind of seeing how Leia's organizing and using network marketing, basically, in the Imperial Empire to pull together this rebellion and actually make it more than just a ragtag bunch of idiots with guns. So it's been really cool. The storyline in this has been great. They're developing and building, and you still get action every issue, and the art's amazing and beautiful. And yeah, Star Wars is one of the best comics Marvel's putting out, hands down, guaranteed. So, good times. Alright. Into the DC Hanna-Barbera stuff, we got Exit Stage Left, Snagglepuss, number 3 of 6. This is done by Mark Russell, Mike Feehan, Mark Morales. This comic's quirky and weird and strange, and I can't even tell you roughly what happens in this issue in the time frame that I'm trying to delimit these two to not have like hour-long episodes. It deals a lot with being gay back in the 60s. It deals with the Cold War. It's this really heavy, dark, quirky, weird social commentary that's just off the wall and totally bizarre in so many ways. I'm enjoying it. It's not most people's cup of tea, I'm sure, because it is just bloody strange. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I like the Flintstones run that Mark Russell's done. I'm really enjoying this. If you kind of want that strange social commentary that's just gonna put it straight in your face as far as what this guy's thinking societal wise and everything, it's it's a fun read, and if the real world's too real for you because you read comics to escape, stay the hell away from this because it's deep. So, yeah, Snagglepuss has been great. Next to the Hanna-Barbera, Jetsons 5 of 6 by Jimmy Palmiotti, Pierre Brito, Alex Sinclair. The Jetsons storyline is not a social commentary as the last comic was. It's just kind of a cool, fun reimagination of the Jetsons. Everybody's more adult, everybody's more grown up. George has these weird psychic powers he got from an alien at the bottom of the ocean. There's a lot going on in these comics, but there's an asteroid that's coming to destroy Earth. That's the main focus of this issue. That they're dealing with this other threat. There's two simultaneous threats. But they find out the threat on the ground is these organisms are terraforming the planet, not destroying it. And George goes into work under false pretenses. His assistant tricks him in there. And his assistant reveals that she's illegally built a nuclear bomb. And she's like, we're going to take this bomb and we're going to steal that spaceship that I'm not supposed to know about, but I totally know about. And we're going to fly it in there all kinds of like the movie Armageddon style and blow this thing out of the sky. And George is like, no. And she explains everything out, the math, that they got this limited time frame window, it's the only way to save humanity, and basically strong arms and badgers him into like, okay, fine, you know what, you're right, I can read your mind. Doesn't admit that, but I know what you're talking about. Let's go. So George retrofits this spaceship with a nuclear missile, and at the last second you think it's going to be him and the assistant. No. It's Rosie, his mom. Knocks this lady out, and then they go. As he's in space going to do this, he's like, I should let the family know I'm about to die. Hits up the family while they're doing science thing on the bottom of the ocean, and he explains what's happening, and they're all sad, and it's a tearjerker, and it's really kind of emotional, because like there's like 8 pages of people just crying, I swear. And the last panel, though, like you see it blow up, and they're like, it had no effect, it was a dud. George just wasted his life, and the last boat, the last spaceship on Earth, for nothing. But then they have this weird, like, Rosie back in her physical form, and George still alive, and they're like, what's going on? I don't know. So, they didn't die. They went to the power cosmic. Like, I don't know. This comic is wacky and zany and fun, and yeah. Jetsons is just a cool read. I can't wait for this to be over and reread the entire thing, because, they'll like have something, not really touch it for the next issue. That's the focus of the next issue. So it kind of like grasshoppers itself, and it's really bizarre, but it's also just been solid fun. So yeah, keep up on that one. All right, here we are with Batman number 42. This is done by Tom King, Mike Janin, June Chung. So this is going on that Poison Ivy took over the world, and Batman basically had enough time to inoculate himself and Catwoman before they were taken over as well. And they're on a detective mission to figure it out, and they decide they're going to leave the mansion. And when they leave the mansion, they have an escort. Superman follows them everywhere. And they're having this just like couples discussion. And Catwoman starts getting all catty and starts making fun of Poison Ivy in the process. Like, oh my gosh, so we're still going to have this wedding. Who should we invite? I know, we'll invite Ivy. Oh, but we need somebody to do the flowers. I know, Ivy. I'm gonna need a bridesmaid. Ivy. And just, it's hilarious. I love Tom King's writing for how just the interactions are so amazing. They go to the Batburger, which issue 15 is the first of the Bane arc, many issues back, and this writer and everything. And that was like the best issue of this comic ever. I cannot go on enough about how funny and amazing and great that the interaction between Batman and the Robins and Duke in this Batburger was. So that gave me some flashbacks of awesomeness. And yeah, they figure out that the reason Poison Ivy's able to do all this is because of the green, all the food on the planet. That's how she's controlling people's mind. There's one guy they realize can't eat green. He's actually allergic to green foods. Poison Ivy's hidden him. And then the detective story goes on. Batman decides to get cocky and mouths off to Poison Ivy and angers her. And angers her so bad, you get this shot. So Superman punches him in the face, controlled by Poison Ivy, and just knocks him for a ringer. And they get him to a hospital, and he started getting healed up, and Catwoman actually approaches Poison Ivy physically, and they talk face to face. And then the last panel, Bruce is being asked these questions by a nurse, and he's like, no, this is exactly what I wanted. Like, my plan's coming all together. Or, this is exactly what I expected. Puddin'. For whatever reason, he wanted to get in contact with Harley Quinn. I don't know why, but that's what's going on. So, yeah, great art, interesting detective story. The dialogue between the characters is amazing. I'm sorry, yeah, Tom King fanboy here, sorry. Batman's been great. Loving it so much. Such a good series so far. Batman White Knight number 6. This is done by Sean Murphy, Matt Hollinsworth. So this issue actually went along at a pretty good clip. You see Nightwing in this Gotham GTO unit that he's working using with Gordon and all them offend Batgirl because they're like, we're going to arrest Batman. And she's like, you can't do this. And she gets offended and walks out on the group. They go after Batman anyways with this brilliant plan where they dupe Batman. Like, these people have been working with him for years. They know how he operates. They know how he thinks. They get Batman and they trick him. It comes to a slugfest with Jack Napier and Batman. They don't really explain that part very well, how he like goes from tangling with the GTO to tangling with Napier like that quick. But anyways, you get to see this slugfest, Batman Joker slugfest, but it's at a line Batman who has a warrant out for his arrest and Jack Napier. And Napier gets the better of him and beats him and drags him back to the police and is like, here's the Batman. We're going to go through with our plan of arresting him and then decowaling him. As they're about to go start this process, Neo Joker kicks her plan into place and reveals a giant freeze gun that she found / stole the technology from Mr. Freeze. And freezes Gotham. And you see Mr. Freeze get involved. Batgirl goes to him and is like, what the heck is going on? And he explains what he knows to Batgirl. So that's how the Bat family is going to get brought in on defeating that end. And at the very end of the comic, you see Harley and Jack have this fight. And she's calling him out for overstepping lines and not doing things the way they're supposed to. And they get together, and they're like, okay, we have the Batman under lock and key. What are we going to do? And Jack starts laughing. And laughing. And laughing and laughing. And turning white. And his hair turns green. And it ends with, the Joker's back! The real Joker! Actual Joker! Not Jack Napier, but Joker! So this will be very interesting. Because there's 2 Jokers. But, this Neo Joker is the new Harley Quinn, and it's this weird triangle, and then you got Batman as a bad guy, and the Bat family's divided, and there's still 2 more issues of this thing, and yeah, White Knight's been solid. It's been so good. Definitely can't wait. But another one, when the whole thing's done, I'm just going to reread the entire thing, and it's, yeah, White Knight's great. Bombshells United, number 13, by Marguerite Bennett, Sandy Jarrell, Kelly Fitzpatrick. Huge Bombshells fan. Really, really, really like Bombshells. The first run, Bombshells United doesn't have the same art by any stretch. Like, the art in this is way less. Like, the art in Bombshells was beautiful, and it's okay. The storylines are less, even though it's the same writer. Like, all around, this is just not the same title that Bombshells was. So, it got announced that it's going to be canceled. As the collector and the purist, I'm going to keep buying this comic, but I'm going to stop covering it on the show, because it's just plodding along, and yeah, I'm not going to make people suffer through that anymore. So, I personally love Bombshells. If you have any inkling to look into it, look into the very first arc. It's like 30 issues ish, and it's great. It's really good. I recommend that. This Bombshells United, I don't know what the hell happened. The secret sauce is just gone, and they gave us ketchup instead. So, yeah, it happens. Justice League number 40. I got a variant cover here because that was some really nice crisp art compared to the regular cover. So, this is done by Priest, Pete Wood, Chris Sotomayor. Yeah, and this variant cover is by J.G. Jones. So, it's calling that part out. This is following the story arc with The Fan, this guy who helped build the Watchtower in space, but also hacked the programming and has been doing all this bad crap to the Justice League, saying he's making them better. He's putting them through trials and showing them their weaknesses, and he's going to make them a better, more wholesome team. And, yeah. This is another one of those weird examples of, like, this is probably one of the least comic books I'm reading as far as, like, favorites if I were to rank them out and scale them. But they've got a bunch of new stuff coming for the Justice League, and opposed to Marvel constantly rebooting, where I have very little faith in. DC's been doing very good about when something starts getting kind of, they seem to change it up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm hoping this new change up with the Justice League will be good. It's coming out in like 2 months. I think it's called No Justice. Hoping this will kind of breathe some more life into it and get us a little more flavor, because this arc has just been weird. They get up, you see JLA and the Justice League finish this emergency they had. They have some bickering back and forth. There's a lot of negativity. They get up to the Watchtower again. It's been sabotaged again by their lawyer, who's another member of this fan club, and it just kept going. One thing I will call out, though, this writer knows a lot about real science. Space science, specifically, because every time he starts dealing with space, it's very technical and it's very, like, in-depth, and there's a lot of, like, actual, like, we need to do this so this can happen, and this works this way, and physics involved, and actual, like, real things, and I appreciate the crap out of that. But the overall story has been very strange, very weird. Yeah, another, like, much like Bombshells, I'm gonna finish this run out, but meh. I'll keep covering this one at least, because it's worth covering. But it's just kind of meh, and, come on, new life. The strangest comic of the night, I think, in a lot of ways. I mean, you'll see why. Superman, number 42. This is done by Patrick Gleason, Peter J. Tomasi, and Alejandro Sanchez. So as you see, there's the Bizarro family on the cover of this. It starts with Bizarro and some really nice, for Bizarro, like, style art. And he's going through this monologue about how him not disrespected enough and people don't walk on him enough. And it's very Bizarro, and I'm reading it, and it was so strange. You know, he wants to be under the doormat, not on top of it. And it was just really weird. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then it cuts to Bizarro Lois Lane, Bizarro Superman, Bizarro Jonathan Kent on the farm, like they did in the beginning of this storyline, you know, issue 1, and it starts doing a, like, weird parody of that whole incident. I mean, it shows, like, the family interactions, how the parents get in a fight, and that's a good thing. You know, what are you doing? Nothing. Good. And they start fighting. Jonathan has that exact same experience with the cat getting taken by a hawk, and him, instead of burning the cat alive, he freezes the cat and the bird. Okay? So it's this weird Bizarro parody of, like, the first story of Superman. And then you start to get a little bit of sense when Jonathan and a friend of his currently from the same story arc are looking at an alternate dimension. And he's like, wow, it's so weird. Like, we really are looking at another dimension. And she's like, yeah, but there's some weird feedback. I wouldn't touch that. And he touches it anyways, and they get sent back. You get to see some family interaction with Lois Lane and And Superman, Jonathan goes to bed. Everything's pretty mundane and normal. You're just kind of like, that was a weird, why did you have that? And then it all makes sense. The very last panel, Bizarro Jonathan crashes in. Goodbye! Because it's Bizarro, everything's backwards. So, yeah, just a quirky, weird, wacky, like the beginning of that was just, I'm reading it, like, what in the world is going on? Because, like, the grammar structure's hard to read, and, like, everything about it was just so weird. But it's Bizarro, and if you like Bizarro at all, dude, that was a hit. So, yeah, we'll just keep rolling with it. Mehcad U #7 from Boom Studios by Greg Pak, Takeshi Miyazawa, and Torona Farrell. So this issue, we saw last issue, the base that these kids have been in get destroyed. Now, mind you, this was only supposed to be a mini-series that did so phenomenally well that they decided to expand it out into a long-term running series. So they've had to change the storyline. You know, you can definitely tell, like, the mom was going to be a side character. When they decided to make it a real comic, the next issue, she had a more predominant role and has had a more predominant role ever since. So they're making this ongoing from a limited series. It was only supposed to be 4 or 5 issues, and we're already at issue 7 because they're just letting it go because it's really, really good. They get taken back to the main HQ. Everybody's getting quarantined. Everything's strange. The daughter of the commander goes wandering off on her own. You follows her. They realize that they're being scrapped. Literally, like one of the robots was damaged. Its pilot is there, and they just like start ripping it apart for spare parts. They go to leave. This commander that they've encountered from outer space, like a legendary war hero, shows up, the guy who's been training them, and he finds these 2 kids and is like, look, I know what's going on now too. We need to get the Piplup out of here. We're going to be pretty much, thrown in jail, and they're going to destroy our mechs if we stick around. The daughter of the commander, who has the human-made, not alien robot, pretends to, she's like, I'll lie for you guys so you guys can escape. So she lies to the general military, like, oh, they went that way, when they actually went that way. You, the main character, and this commander, this war hero commander, are running through the facility. And the war hero commander's like, look, kid, you know how some people don't like me, but most people do? And the kid's like, yeah. You's like, of course. He's like, that's because I do things weird, and I do things that people don't like. You need to trust everything I'm about to tell you, no matter how weird and no matter how much you dislike it. And you's like, okay. And they steal their mechs and fly away. You get it, let's see here. You get kind of a cool little, them taking off. But that commander's daughter stayed behind with her mech and is playing along with her high-ranking military dad's plan. I'm assuming she's going to sell them out and betray them because, yeah, you don't know that for sure, though, because they started this comic with her being, like, real heartless and closed off, and she's warmed up to the group over time, and it's cute, it's campy. Like I said, if you like anime and you like giant robots and mechs, this is a really solid book. 60% of why I buy this book is so I have a comic to read with my son, because he's really into that kind of crap, so it's something we identify and relate to, and yeah, I'm kind of wanting to pick up more indie books, and that was the start. I have another indie book coming up next. Alright, so I went out on a limb with this last one. I wasn't originally going to buy it until I got to my local comic book shop and walked in the door, and I decided to grab it at the last second. Like, literally, as I'm standing in line, I'm like, ah, it's me. Grabbed when they had off the counter because they ordered a number of them. We have Oblivion Song #1 from Robert Kirkman and Lorenzo Delfisi. Robert Kirkman's done Walking Dead, which I read in compendium format because I'm so far behind. Saga, which I read in trade format. Lots of stuff. He's a big writer. This is really cool. Oh man, I'm signed up for this one. This is really cool. So they don't explain why, but there's reality, like where everybody lives, and there's this other place that you can be teleported to that was taken over by monsters. And it starts in this other place with this guy. You see two like mutated people running through the streets, and this giant monster's after them. And then this human is there, and this human's got like a med pack and a army medic helmet, and he shoots the people with these tranq darts. And when they get shot with the tranq dart, they disappear. And the monster goes to attack him, and he slaps his button, and it doesn't work. And you find out he's a rescue party from society, and he's teleporting himself in and saving people and bringing them back and teleporting them out. And this was like a huge tragedy that happened years ago because there's like a monument made with like names chiseled in it, and you know, it's very like end of the world, post-apocalyptic. Like the art's really cool. Yeah, everything about it I really enjoyed. Like I said, I was like, oh, why not? We'll pick up issue 1. What's the worst that happens? And well, lo and behold, I got another monthly comic, which that's cool most of the time as long as you can afford them. So yeah, I was really impressed, and I'm gonna start picking up more indie books. I know I threatened basically that I was gonna buy more Marvel books, but that's another subject that ain't gonna happen. So I will slowly be picking up more independent titles, and we'll be seeing a lot more different kind of stuff like that. Alright, everybody, that's a wrap for the night. I think I went a little long talking and rambling tonight, so sorry if this episode's over 30 minutes, my bad. I like to talk. It's what I do. And, yeah, either way, thank you guys for sharing your time with me, paying attention to what I do. I hope you got some good information out of it, and you guys are enjoying your own comic books in your own personal time. Thank you much, and I'll see you all again. Bye!
Yeah. Did you get it?